And let's not forget about the jazz band. As I was sitting here listening to them, I almost forgot I had to speak. But I just wanted to say what an incredible night this is going to be. What an incredible night it has been. First, I just wanted to thank Mayor Pugh and her team, especially Jeannie Davis, the City Hall curator, for this opportunity to join the celebration of Baltimore's African American history. I also want to thank our partners, Dale Green from Morgan State University and Dr. Veal Terry, and also Jason Vaughn from the Baltimore National Heritage Area. The three of us, the three organizations together, put the exhibit that you will see together, and it was quite a wonderful time and a great learning experience for me. I also want to welcome and thank the CHAP staff. If you guys could just stand up for a second, because if it wasn't for these folks, we would not have done it. So I just want to give them a great thing. So this is a great opportunity for us. And I just wanted to just say, again, thank you so much, Mayor Pugh. And I also want to really appreciate bringing the spotlight to this history that we so much treasure. So thank you.
Let's give those dancers and musicians another round of applause. First, let me say welcome to this space, to City Hall. It's just so good to see the citizens of Baltimore coming in and sharing our space. I wanted to welcome, I thought I saw City Councilman Brandon Scott was here, and I saw City Councilman Zeke Cohen. Thank you for being here with us. And I cannot tell you how excited I am that we are kicking off Black History Month. Everyone knows how rich our history is, but I wanted to thank Eric Holcomb, the director of the Baltimore City Commission for Historical and Architectural Preservation, that's CHAP. I also want to offer greetings to all of you on behalf of Black History Month. You know, while we take this month, February, to celebrate Black History Month, it is our history and it should be celebrated all the time. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the City of Riches, this inaugural Black History Month Portrait Gallery. You all will get a chance to visit. It underscores the cultural centers and beacons of Baltimore's African American heritage. I want to thank all of our gallery partners. First to CHAP, thank you again for your work. You oversee, I think it is 33 local historical districts, 200 landmarks, as well as Baltimore's local Historic Preservation Tax Credit Program. If you don't know about it, communities, please make sure you avail yourselves to CHAP. This is an opportunity to make sure that our communities are preserved and grants are provided to make sure that we do so. Morgan State University, my alma mater, you're celebrating your 150th anniversary as Maryland's premier public urban research university. I often say to people in Baltimore and in different places and states that I go, that I came here from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Morgan State University is where I grew up. It is the university that helped me to appreciate the love and the fabric of Baltimore. This is home. Thank you. And this city is so welcoming, and I want to remind everyone that we are a welcoming city. And for those of you who don't understand what I mean, and I was saying this because later on this month I get to read a book to young people, and it talks about the migration of African Americans. But I wanted to remind you all that we're all immigrants, all of us, unless your heritage is that of an American Indian. Some of us, African Americans specifically, came as slaves, but for the most part, many of us have migrated to this country. So, as I said earlier this week, the America that I know is welcoming to all individuals. And you know that when we pass through the harbors of New York and you see that Statue of Liberty that says, "Bring me, you're tired, you're hungry, you're poor," that's everyone. We take the rich too. But this company, this city is welcoming to everyone. And to the Baltimore National Heritage Area, who promotes heritage tourism and economic development to strengthen Baltimore's neighborhoods, thank you. It is very well known that the African American community has played a major role in the development of Baltimore's infrastructure, cultural, moral, and governance, which also echoes across the states of Maryland and throughout the United States. It should make us all proud because our history is spoken, resonated throughout this nation. We have some of the most historical figures who passed through our city and through this state. And for that, we should all be proud. I wanted to make note that, as you well know, African Americans are about 63% of this city's population, and we are the 5th on the list of United States cities with the highest population of African Americans. And so, as I continue to lead this city with such great pride, I remind us of what it means to be inclusive and to be diverse. And when you think about the young people who are sitting here with us and many who will come through our city, remind them all that we are better together as we become more inclusive and diverse and understanding of each other's culture. The exhibition celebrates the legacy as part of our American dream, highlighting the constellation of districts and landmarks that have been preserved, the treasures of our culture. And let me just remind you the narratives that go along with the tourism that exists in this city. Specifically, when you think of the focus on Pennsylvania Avenue, its Heritage Trail, Baltimore's premier historic African American neighborhood and entertainment district. And I know that there are young people who are out here who don't even understand the significance of Pennsylvania Avenue, a place where African Americans came to be entertained, a place where African Americans was the only place where they could shop. And so it reminds us of the deep heritage and why we need to preserve these neighborhoods. When I ride up and down Pennsylvania Avenue today, I say to all of us as members of this city, not only should we remember our history, but we must remember what those neighborhoods represent. And more importantly, understand that there are people who live in and around those neighborhoods who have lived there for decades. And that is not indicative of their status or their income. But what we must remind ourselves is what we must do for all of us. That when we lift the least, I'm always famous for saying, then we lift all of us. It is what we do when no one is looking at us. It is what we say about each other when nobody is listening. It is the whispers to each other, it is the undertones, and it is the approach that we have towards one another. And so I say to you that whatever you do, do it in love, but more importantly, understand as much as we may think we're different, we're very much the same. And so I have the honor of presenting a few certificates to the individuals who helped us to put on this display today. And to my young people, I want to remind you that your history is rich and it is important. I never forget when I was campaigning and there was a young man who said to me, what can we do to restore the faith and understanding, especially among African American males, about their importance? And I remember the various candidates answering in different ways, and people looked at the young man as though he was saying something that they did not understand. And what I said to him in my response is that we must teach our history so that young people who are of African descent understand that they came from kings and queens. And when you understand your history, you understand your ability to be all that you desire to be. And what I also echo to the business community here in our city is that we must take under our wings young people And remember that when you touch them, don't just touch them because they're standing in your midst. Bring them into your midst. And I relayed the story, and I want to share this with you all. I remember when I was covering the Miami riots, and I told the business community it was not the burned out buildings that I remembered the most. It was the 11-year-old who was standing beside me. And when I looked down at him, he said, "We have no jobs now." And what I said to the business community is that what you must understand is that many of our young people don't get to see outside of the 4 square block radius in which they live. And the only way that that changes is that we all take responsibility to help our young people see beyond where they exist. And so, again, I thank you all. I see one of my favorite individuals here who has been just a stalwart in the effort to continue to let people know about our African American heritage by doing tours on a regular basis throughout our city. Stand up, please. Stand up. Don't be standing there just doing pictures. I just want to say thank you. Thank you on behalf of the citizens of Baltimore for the work that you do, again, when nobody is looking, when nobody is applauding. And so, while I don't have a certificate for you today, I'll make sure I get you one before the end of this month, because you do the work 24/7, nonstop, all year long. Thank you. So, let me say to Eric Holcomb, who's the Executive Director and Commissioner for the Historical Architectural Preservation Chapter, join me as I present these certificates. You can come.
We're going to do the shot right here.
Okay. All righty. So are you all just handing me these certificates?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here's your certificate of recognition.
Excuse me, gentlemen in the back, have your slide this way, please. Thank you very much. Eric, hold on to the certificate, please. Good, we're looking at me, big smile. Here we go, ready? 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much.
Jason Vaughn.
And Jason is from... Jason Vaughn, who is the Director of Historic Preservation and Interpretation, the Baltimore National Heritage Area. Here, Jason.
Sorry, you're really shy. You have the slide over, sir. Thank you. Here we go, ready? 3, 2, 1. Beautiful, hold that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And to Dr. Don Terry Veal, who is the Chief of Staff for the Office of the President of Morgan State University, again, my alma mater.
Hold on to the edge. Here we go. We're looking right at me, please. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Good, hold that. Thank you very much.
And finally, to Dr. Ron Howell and Connections Academy's Art Department. I can't thank you enough. Look, I had the opportunity to see them dance at an event that I went to, and they are just so outstanding. Thank you.
Sir. Here we go. Ready at me? 3, 2, 1. Good. Hold that. There we go. Good. Thank you.
And I have one more. David Burton and the Douglas Jazz Combo. Hey, y'all, give them another round of applause. Weren't they awesome?
Ready at me, please. Good smiles. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Good. One more. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Robin Bland. We have a flower shop that's Black-owned in Ashburton. It's called Baltimore Blossoms. So I appreciate the work that you're doing, and hopefully Baltimore will blossom under your leadership.
Thank you.
These are
Thank
for
you.
you.
Ashburton is my neighborhood, so thank you so much. Again, you all, let's celebrate our history, let's celebrate our culture, and let's love each other as we continue to grow as a city and to unite around our common interests. I look forward to continuing to lead and to work with every single one of you. Thank you so much. Which is a lot of entertainment, so don't go away. Let me just do a shout out to just a shout out to all of my department heads. I see you all around here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right. I want to get a little serious with you for a minute here, and I just wanted to let you. I want to share with you what I learned while working on this exhibit. So, when I was helping to put this exhibit together, one recurring theme moved me very deeply. This exhibit does more than recognize famous Americans, African Americans from Baltimore. It celebrates Baltimore African American community that nurtured and inspired some of the greatest geniuses in American history. Out of this community rose Frederick Douglass, Thurgood Marshall, Billie Holiday, Zora Neale Hurston, and many more. We can ask, what did Zora Neale Hurston do in Baltimore? But I want to ask a different question. I want to ask, what did Baltimore, the African American community, do for Zora Neale Hurston? And the answer is very simple, but very profound. The community helped recognize her genius. It helped convince her to nurture that genius and helped her find the means to do it. Now, I think that's what this whole exhibit is really about. It is really about the African American community. So for more than 50 years, through the use of historic preservation tax credits, historic designation, public history programs, and historic preservation planning, CHAP has helped communities revitalize neighborhoods and rehabilitate historic treasures. Historic preservation means very little unless it is a servant of a higher goal. And that goal is community well-being. And CHAP looks forward to working with Mayor Pugh and neighborhoods across the city on this noble endeavor. But I also have a ask of everybody here tonight. When you walk through the exhibit, we have a poster there that says, "What's missing?" Because one of the things that we discovered, or I discovered, is there's so much more out there. And I am learning every day of what the African American community has given to this city. So please take a look at that, and there will be a space on that poster for you to write down what you think is what is important to you and to tell us what is important to the city of Baltimore. And I ask you to take some time to think about that. Once we receive that information, we will work with the communities, work with the property owners, and help celebrate what you all tell us. Thank you. Next, if Dr. Don Terry wants to come up.
Good evening. Dr. David Wilson, the president at Morgan State University, regrets not being here today, and of course, I am speaking on his behalf as his chief of staff. Dr. Wilson was invited months ago to serve as the keynote speaker at Dartmouth College for its leading voices in the higher education series. A little about Morgan. Morgan State University is truly one of the great institutions in American higher education. On the national level, our rankings for the number of bachelor's degrees awarded to African Americans are 3rd in engineering, 9th in computer and informational sciences, 12th in business, 14th in total degrees, 17th in biological sciences, 19th in education. For doctorates awarded to African Americans on the national level, our rankings are first in education, fifth in total degrees. For Fulbright scholars, we are first among all historically Black colleges and universities in the United States. February 1st is the beginning of a very important month in American history. It's the beginning of Black History Month. On behalf of Dr. Wilson, our university is honored to participate in this Black History Month celebration with one of its very esteemed alumna and leading voices in this nation, Mayor Catherine Pugh. I now would like to take this moment to present to you Dr. Dale Green, Professor Green, who will talk about our sesquicentennial. Professor Green.
Good evening. I'm honored to stand before you on this evening, the first day of our African American History Month celebration, and on this day, the birthday of Langston Hughes. And in order to celebrate our sesquicentennial, I'm going to start with a quote from Langston Hughes's Freedom Plow. Freedom plow, first in the heart is a dream, first in the mind they move. The hand seeks to seek other hands, and the hands, through a community of hands, build a nation. I share that because the founder of Morgan State University, Reverend Samuel Green Sr., is my sixth great-grandfather. And he, like the Freedom's Plow, had a first dream in his heart. And he had, with his mind, he moved, and with his hands, he sought other hands to ultimately build what we now call Morgan State University. He was born a slave on Maryland's Eastern Shore in Dorchester County, a first cousin to Harriet Tubman. He was an Underground Railroad worker. He was a preacher. He came to Baltimore in 1857 after being sentenced to 10 years in prison right here in the city of Baltimore for possessing a copy of the Uncle Tom's Cabin. However, when he was released on pardon by Governor Bradford from the state of Maryland, he worked very diligently with the Washington Conference of the Methodist Episcopal Church to start the Centenary Biblical Institute, which today is the Morgan State University. And so when you see the exhibit in the room off to the side on Morgan State University and its 150 remarkable year journey, you will see that these hidden figures and these remarkable individuals that tell our African American history and culture are now chronicled in 9 panels. And so we hope that you enjoy this very rich exhibit, and we hope that you continue to celebrate very richly our African American history and culture. Thank you.
I'll keep this brief since we're all hungry. I just want to thank everybody for coming this evening. I want to thank Mayor Pugh and her office for inviting us to participate with the CHAP in Morgan State with this wonderful exhibit you're going to see tonight. And I just want to, anecdotally, when I started with the Heritage area, we were right in the middle of the Star-Spangled celebrations. And one thing on my plate that was not related to the bicentennial was the development of interpretive panels for the Pennsylvania Avenue Heritage Trail. And it came I understood extremely quickly that this is a true story of the city that needs to be told. The War of 1812 was important, but when you look at these centuries of dedication and work by African Americans in Baltimore to shape the city from the ground up, this was the story that I felt was the most important thing. And that's why the Heritage Area is very proud to do a lot more with African American history, not only just interpretation, but actually helping the neighborhoods and creating partnerships in the historic neighborhoods that make up Baltimore. So with that, I'd like to invite you to explore the Pennsylvania Avenue Trail. And this summer, we're going to be introducing some mobile touring so we can increase visitation along the trail and really tell this extremely important story of Baltimore. So thank you very much.
We are going to have one more final dance from the Connections, and then we're all going to be let loose to go have some food. you.